You mentioned Srisanth there, Ajit. Yourself, you were a very cool, calm customer on the cricket field. Srisanth's the complete opposite. What advice would you give Srisanth? More of the same, or just to sort of cool things down a little bit at times?
No, I won't give him any advice. Look, I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's got a different character to himself. His personality is different. As long as you don't cross the line and you be sensible about it, and it doesn't affect your game, and that's the bottom line, isn't it? I mean, if you do all those things on the field and it affects your game, then you're obviously not doing something right. So you've got to be sensible enough to know where to draw the line and what helps you and what doesn't. Okay, you're trying to get under the skin of the opposition, but you've got to remember you don't get carried away and lose control over your game.
During your international career, Ajit, you were very lucky enough not to pick up too many injuries. These days it seems that a lot of the fast bowlers are regularly picking up injuries and, sticking to one or two brands of cricket rather than playing in all three formats. Your advice to up-and-coming fast bowlers on how to remain injury-free?
It's a difficult thing, isn't it? I mean, I can only talk about fast bowlers coming from the subcontinent. It is hard work. I mean, you see our first class season and it is tough work, and that's why you sometimes don't get a lot of quick bowlers coming from India, because a lot of them somehow pick up an injury when they're younger, and then it's very, very difficult to get that sort of speed back. But you work hard. I mean, fitness, stay disciplined. That's the only thing you can do. I mean, injuries are going to be a part of any fast bowler's career. It's just how much you can minimize, and that sometimes can happen when you're younger. If you sort out your bowling, if you get the right guidance with your fitness, and there is a lot more awareness about fitness training now than it was maybe about 10 years back. So in the future, but you also got to remember, I mean, there are three formats of the game now, so that there's a lot more stress and pressure on the body than maybe it was a little bit before. So you've got to, I mean, it's not that cricketers in the past played any less cricket or bowled less, but the demands of travelling and everything is a little bit more. So you maybe got to be that much more disciplined. I don't think it's changed the way you play the game, but you need to be a little bit more disciplined with how you look after yourself if you want to play for a longer period of time and you want to play all formats of the game.
Ajit, the MRF Academy is playing a key role in the development of Indian cricket. How important do you think the MRF Academy is? How successful do you think it has been? And, what areas does it need to look at with regards to improving the work it's doing?
Won't really be able to tell you on what it needs to improve, because I haven't been to the MRF Academy other than meeting Dennis Lilly a couple of times, so I wouldn't know how they work. But obviously Zahir's been a product of the MRF Academy early in his career. I think Srinath went there for a bit, and Venkatesh Prasad was one of their products. So they've obviously done well over the years. But as to what they do or what they need to improve, I don't think I'll be able to answer that question yet.
Ajit, regarding Zahir Khan, he's become a wily old fox. I remember watching him when he first burst on the scene, very quick, bowling lots of fast Yorkers. These days he seems to be sort of relying more on seam movement, and he's a very clever and a bowler who can work batsmen out. Your thoughts on how Zahir has improved his bowling?
Oh, absolutely. I think he knows his bowling really well now. I mean, which happens with experience, I guess. I mean, the county stint here with Worcestershire definitely helped him. Where he figured out how to bowl in different conditions and when to push yourself and when not. I mean, even today, when he needed to, he could bowl in the higher 130s. He doesn't do that when he doesn't need to, because he's become smart, as you said. And if you have movement, and plus he's a left-hander, which is a difficult angle for most batters, and he's just a good bowler. So he's worked out his bowling really well, and because you know he plays almost all the games for India. He doesn't miss too many with injury, and once you know your body well and you're bowling well, that comes with it, I think. So yeah, he's definitely been India's best bowler in the last 3 years or so by a long way, whether it's a spinner or a fast bowler.
We've all seen you comment in the studios with Sky Sports, Ajit. How's the experience been, and is cricket commentary or media work something that you've got planned for the future, or would you prefer to stay on sort of the playing side of things with regards to perhaps coaching?
I don't know. I'm still playing first class cricket this year.
Sure, yes.
Still playing the IPL, so that's one of those things. But I've enjoyed it. I mean, you sit with experienced guys. You learn a lot from them on how they speak about the game and their views about the game. So yeah, it's been exciting. I think just sitting with the guys here. I was looking forward to it before I came here, and I've thoroughly enjoyed being here. But as for the future, I'm not certain at this stage because in a week's time or 10 days time, I'm going to go and play in an IPL tournament.
Ajit, on the field, we've seen a lot of controversial incidents over the years between Indian and Pakistani players, but how is the relationship between the players off the field?
I think it's fairly good. I mean, most players get along. At least in my time, I've never seen any animosity between the players off the field. I mean, there are a few instances which happen on the field, which is with any team, not just India or Pakistan.
Sure, yes.
Obviously, there's a little bit more needle when an India-Pakistan game happens, but it's more so because of the people around the game, not so much on the field. And it is the biggest game that both countries play, especially in a World Cup, and we don't play each other enough these days for whatever reason. And that's what makes when the next Wednesday's game even more mouth-watering, because both teams have started to hit reasonable form. And it's a World Cup semi-final. You can't really ask for more. I mean, the only thing you could have asked for is maybe a final, but semi-final is just as good. But that's probably the game everyone's been waiting for.
Ajit, coming to next Wednesday's game, India have home advantage. They must be favourites in your mind.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it might sound a little bit biased, but yeah. I mean, Pakistan had a really good quarterfinal, but not against a good opposition. I mean, you still have to play well, and they thrashed West Indies. But I'm sure starting that semi-final, India, especially after today's win, which is very, very difficult to beat Australia, doesn't matter what team they put up on the park. And under pressure today, after they were 5 down from 180 odd, getting to that 260 would have given them immense confidence. Just about handling the pressure, because everyone expects India to win the World Cup this time, and it's not as easy as it looks. It is a tough game without a doubt, but I think India will start slight favourites in my opinion in that game.
Do you think the pressure of the home crowd could perhaps get to some of the Indian players, perhaps some of the inexperienced guys?
Well, it could have today, and they responded really well, so that would have helped them. Obviously Pakistan game offers something a little bit more than when you play Australia, but Australia has not lost in a World Cup for the last 3 World Cups. I mean, they lost the game to Pakistan that day, but they've not, they've held the World Cup for the last 3 times. So, and under pressure today, they responded really well. I mean, someone like Arena, okay, he's been around the last few years now, but even then, just to go out, and when you know you lose and you're knocked out of the World Cup, when you're one of the hosts, that's a big ask. So I think they'll be a lot better against Pakistan with that regard when it comes to the expectations. They are going to be the expectations, there's no question about it. But after today's game, I think they'll cope with it a lot better than before today's game.
Ajit, last couple of questions with regards to the Pakistan-India game. Who do you think are the key players for both sides?
You've got to think for India. I mean, you've got to think Sehwag and Sachin are always the key. I mean, throughout the tournament, and Yuvraj has been their man of the tournament. Really, I mean, if you had to give someone a player of the tournament today, he'd probably be in the top 3 for sure. Zahir will again be crucial in the bowling. But the other three bowlers or four bowlers have to support him a little bit more in terms of getting the wickets. Because if they do that, then India. But these three with Zahir are obviously going to be the key. And for Pakistan, obviously the captain. I mean, Afridi's been in sensational form. But if the Pakistani openers get off to a decent start, the middle order is very, very strong, and they just did well, unlike most other teams. So they could create India a problem. And Umar Gul, he's been in terrific form as well. So I think Afridi, Umar Gul, and if Pakistan get off to a decent start against India, their middle order could play really well.
And the one key battle that you think between one player from India and one player from Pakistan that could ultimately decide the game next Wednesday, Ajit?
No, there are lots of battles. It's not possible to say there's one battle because there's so many good players on both teams, and there are players in good form. I just think India, maybe with their batting, is a little bit ahead because there are more than one player in good form. Pakistan, I think, still need a big performance from some of their big batters, which is there are lots of battles, but how well India play Afridi in the middle and Umar Gul at the top might just decide the contest. Well, it won't decide the contest because there are other things that go into it, but at least they were playing on a good wicket, unlike today, which was a bit slowish and turned a little bit. Mohani should at least be on the flatter side and play well for all 100 overs.